If they make you laugh, if they make you cry, if they blow your mind, why not go online to Grimerica.ca/support.
Pranic healing is excellent for self-healing techniques. There are a number of them. And as a pranic healer, I feel really fortunate because every time I do a healing session on someone else, I get healed as well.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica show. We're going to be chatting with Jayne Jeffrey a little bit later about pranic healing, all sorts of great stuff like that.
Pranic?
Pranic? Isn't that like tomato?
I don't think so.
No? Agree to disagree.
Maybe.
I think it is. It is to me. Anyway, and of course she's got a special relationship with the show because she's married to Alan, who's been around since I think pretty close to day one. I don't know exactly when Alan came around, but he seems to have been in the mix for a long time. And of course, he's a very special Grimerican because he takes care of all our travel arrangements. And when you guys are listening to this, we're actually probably just pulling up to the venue in Colorado as this releases. I'll have time to release so that this releases at the same time as CAC starts. So Graham and I that's contact at the cabin. Graham and I have driven to Colorado, hopefully without incident. And now we're here, ready to kick it off.
Yeah, and it's not like Alan's our travel, like don't make it seem like he's our travel, guy for everything, just for this event.
He's our event coordinator.
Yeah.
We affectionately dub him the minister
it's not
of
like
travel.
he organized our flights to go home for Christmas and stuff like that.
I don't fly anywhere other than CAC.
It's true, you don't.
And I don't fly there. I drive.
Yeah.
I'm driving. I almost flew to this one. Ended up driving.
You think we would have learned our lesson when we first met and we drove together to a conference 22 hours? What were we thinking? We're like, we're never going to do that again.
Well,
we're just going to fly.
We drove straight through.
I know.
And it was for a weekend.
There's a big difference.
Trying not to miss work.
Yeah, there's a big difference, yeah.
It's like we literally just finished the conference and drive 23 hours straight home.
Yeah. Remember, ended in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
In October.
And on the way there, we ran out of gas.
Just about.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't run out of gas.
Oh, I can't believe you didn't listen to me. I told you just get gas.
Yeah. I was like, there's another one up here.
Are you sure?
45 minutes later.
Better turn around. I don't let my truck go down to half. Fuck that. I ran out of gas too many times. Once was too many. And I was really only a couple hundred feet from the pump, but I realized at that time how lucky I was.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. One time coming home with Lisa, my wife, we were coming back from Red Lake. It was New Year's. I can't remember if it was New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Day. And I want to say I can't remember if we had Madison yet. Yeah, I think we had Madison, but she was only like 4 months old at the time. It was either we had Madison. Yeah, I think we had Madison. She was about 4 months old. And all the gas stations were closed. We were going through Saskatchewan. And I was like, holy shit. And it's like Canadian winter too. So if you're running gas, it gets cold quick.
Yeah.
And we got a baby and it's New Year's Day. There's not a lot of traffic out. Just like Ani out of gas. And finally we pulled up at the one in Maple Creek and they had
like a co-op that was open or something?
No, the gas station was open and it was 5:56 and they were closing at 6 o'clock.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We got gas. I was just like, whew. And ever since that, whenever I'm traveling with the family, that thing doesn't go. If I go by a gas station, I'm at half, it gets filled up. Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this was a great episode with Jayne.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. awesome to hear her pranic healing stories and stories in the pyramid.
We were
in
her
King's
first-
Chamber with the Resonance
first podcast.
Foundation. And
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great send off in the podcast, and I'm sure she'll be getting interviewed all over the place soon. And we're eager to meet her here in a week and a half. Get her to do some pranic healing sessions on us.
How Canadian of you.
Definitely, Lisa's gonna get a session for sure. Probably Maria.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much time she's going to have to heal everybody, but I do want to mention before I
I
forget.
figure the girls will probably stay back while we're all out
Probably.
romping around Mesa Verde.
Yeah.
Lisa already said she's like, I'm not going to that. No, I'm staying at the place.
Yeah. So before I forget, though, that night while we were interviewing Jayne,
That was the night nothing was working. We couldn't live stream anything.
I got Maria to do that meditation that she suggested.
Oh right, yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
And her migraine broke that night.
Wow,
Yeah, she did it twice. She loved it.
I've done.
She thought this was a great meditation, and it actually seemed to really help. It healed her.
Yeah, I've done it like 3 times.
Yeah, me too.
Synchro, but I'm not a meditator.
There
I
you
just
go.
listen to it.
Well,
Do my best.
no, what do you mean? Well, then you meditated to it.
Right on.
You can't just say you just listen to it without meditating or something.
Well, I try and I play along. You know, I do
Were
my
you on your
best.
phone?
No,
Okay, well, that's a start.
fuck you. Anyway, what do you got? Oh, you know what we'll do?
Bingo, bango, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica newsletter. Bingo, bango,
Social media jangle. Don't forget. What should we go to? All right, let's go to the Facebook page.
Subscribe to the
Grimerica. Okay, Graham, I'll let you choose the post. We got... Are there limitations on free speech? What are they? What's the best documentary you've seen?
Let's do the free speech one. I mean, we have to talk about that.
I knew that one would get you.
This is a very important time to support independent media.
All right.
It really is. Like,
Let's
this
see.
is like the stuff I've seen the mainstream lie about to independent YouTubers and stuff. It's mind blowing. The deception is mind blowing. You can't even deconstruct you can't even talk about the news anymore. Tim Pool's trying to talk about the news. He can't say it because he's not allowed to talk about the news.
There you have it.
That's really getting
Careful.
bad.
Don't get us in trouble.
No, we're not big enough to be in
Nah.
trouble yet, but
Fuck 'em anyway.
Still, it's going to slow
We'll
the
ride
growth.
this, ride and die. That's why you got to support the show. Grimerica.ca/support so that we can get our friend of the show, George. Hi, George. We love you. He's been helping us out with some stuff, and he can put us on some servers that we can have our RSS feed. We can have the same sort of setup as No Agenda has.
Yeah.
Where we're 100% self-sustainable. You know, they can make it so we're maybe not findable as easily, but they've already kind of done that with some of the shadow banning.
Well, in the
Luckily-
U.S. anyways, in the U.S. iTunes for sure.
That's
I mean,
right.
at least in the U.K. and Canada and
We're still top 20.
probably Australia, we're still doing okay. But the U.S. guys, just as soon as we had Big Tree on, they
Then we had a
hacked
Vax
us down.
debate. We're going to do another Vax debate too. Of course, that got pushed back to June because Dell's busy protesting. Anyway, that's why you got to support the show, people, or that's why we love the people that do support the show, because we got it in the studio and everything else, which is fantastic. And
But this is about all we got. We got enough to pay the bills, and that's it.
that's it. We got enough to pay for the infrastructure and the bills, and that's it. Nothing else. Nothing. Not even enough to, well, maybe enough for a cup of coffee once in a while. Grimerica.ca/support. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're fucking grateful for all that, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have any of this. It's sweet having an office. It's sweet
Yeah, we
having
couldn't do
all
it
the-
on our own.
all the lovely gear that we've got to deliver a quality product.
We couldn't do it on our own.
couldn't do it
We
on
broke
our
a
own.
cord the other day. Like, we broke a cord. It took us a couple hours to troubleshoot it, and then Darren, of course, comes in and he replaces a little 1/8 extension cord, and it's the fixes the problem. You know,
I'm a whiz.
$17 cord though, just craps out, brand new, pretty much. Luckily, I had an extra one, But I mean, this is stuff we're always trying to kind of fix.
Oh, it's an uphill battle. It'd be an impossible climb though without the supporters we do have.
Yep.
We love you guys. You're the best. And
We got the Black Budget feed too. We should
that's
talk about
right.
that.
You get bonus content.
There's a bunch of other content in there.
More Randall Carlson. I'm going to throw in there
More Randall
tomorrow.
than you can handle.
Yeah, more Randall. More Randall than you can handle. That's for sure. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of great stuff from CAC thrown in the Black Budget too. Yeah, extra content to the already 350 episodes for free. Grimerica.ca/support and help us grow. And then we'll love you too. What was I doing? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
you're getting
Free
to
speech.
social media.
Okay, Keith Nelson. Okay, the post was.
What is this? What do you mean post? What is this?
The post.
It's a
What do you
post.
mean? What's the post?
Well, post where? On what? Is it
I
a
said
question? Is
Facebook,
it,
dude.
Oh, did you Facebook post?
Keep up.
Okay. I thought you were doing your Twitter thingamajig.
Are the thingamajiggy? Are you like 60? Are there limitations on free speech? Question mark. What are they?
there limitations on free
Yeah.
speech?
Question mark.
By who? Like
What are
right
they?
now? Like
I just
or-
said that. That's
or
I
limitations?
didn't. I don't provide
I
that.
need some more
context.
context. Okay, let's hear what they say.
You're bugging me. Are there limitations on free speech? What are they? Keith Nelson. Yes, mainstream media. I don't know if I get that.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. That's the way I looked at the question. Yes, there are tons of limitations right now, but I think you were meant to ask in a philosophical sense, what should the limitations on free speech be?
Ah, yeah, maybe I could have framed that better. So then we got Facebook and Pinterest are pulling down conversations about vaccines.
Oh, there you go.
Brody Presley.
Oh, hey, Brody.
Free speech is an illusion. Kenneth Gingrich. Why would there be any free speech? We got the gif of someone with their ears and hands in ears. Yes, of course there is. Don't hit people. That's Glenn Norrell.
Well, yeah, that's supposed to be. See, that's what was brought up. Like when it comes to violence, like that's where the line is drawn.
Crawford
Sticks
King.
and stones kind of thing.
I wouldn't like to say, really. Kellyanne, there should not be, but unfortunately there seems to be. Rachel Cruz, yes, don't offend anyone. Glenn Norrell, being offended is a personal choice. Paul F. Nuvu Jr., the only one that is allowed under our Constitution, the one that infringes upon another's. The limitations are that they don't apply to private entities. It's appalling to me that people don't understand that freedom of speech only protects you from the government. The government cannot arrest you for what you say. That's it. Some of y'all need to take up...
Where has he been?
That's Donna Hollywood. Some of y'all need to take a political science class if you think freedom of speech protects you from being censored by private entities such as Facebook.
They're not just private entities. That's bullshit. Plus, they are arresting people, aren't they? Isn't there in the UK? There's been some major issues. Cops knocking on the door for jokes, for people telling jokes.
Were they funny jokes?
Obviously not.
Bradley Knight, don't be an unnecessary dick. Is there room for a responsibility law? It's all so fucked. Craig Flowers, I think right now a lot of people would say free speech ends at incarceration. It's supposed to be black and white, and the First Amendment is inalienable, but whatever. So, should I keep going? I can go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to a couple more if you want.
All right, we'll go to YouTube. YouTube's go trolling. What do we got? What do we got in YouTube's on the Bed Davidson video? If you only listen to the podcast, you haven't seen the video yet. That's of course that's why we call it going to the YouTube.
Hang on, so are those live videos that we've done out there for podcasts that haven't been released yet? Then
Yes,
okay,
on the YouTubes.
right.
Oh, by the way, if your girlfriend's migraines are bad and resistant to drugs, consider the ketogenic diet. It worked for me. That's
All
from
right, thanks.
John Mallory. Awesome idea. When the particles hit, we can potentially placebo ourselves into X-Men. That's a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah.
David Matheson, God says you must come to him as a child or the gospel is foolishness. I believe that Jesus is not done with you and he will call you back to him. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. It is not wrong to seek, but he is a good God and will leave the 99 to bring back the one. That's a bit of a crazy one.
Wow, David.
I sent that to Dave right away as soon as it came in. He's like, who sent that? What? Where'd that come from?
I got some here.
That's from Enemy Helicopter.
Oh, I got some feedback here.
All right.
This is from Instagram. Connect with me there. Like our show notes and our artwork and stuff like that. This is from Caleb Monroe 33. I'm having FOMO already from not being able to attend CAC. I really hope they have a live stream. I'll pay for it.
We might have something after, but it's not looking good on a live stream.
No. And then one from, this is on our episode with Heidi Schleifer about the connection and the space between us. This is from the Stacey Jewell podcast. Love that you're featuring this topic. Can't wait to give it a listen. So, yes, we are trying to be very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Open to everything.
Yeah.
We just sort of go wherever we want. That's the beauty of
The show.
the show. We just do whatever we want, talk to whoever we want, about whatever we want. What else you got? You got something else? You got an email or something you get into?
Actually, I do have an email. It's I got a little synchronicity email, actually.
Ooh.
I got a couple emails here.
I'm a rambling gram with synchronicities all over the web. And Aaron is skeptical about everyone and don't believe it yet.
Huh. This is kind of appropriate. I was getting acupuncture done, so he said he had to send this one in. I was getting acupuncture done because I've been having trouble sleeping. I'm in the middle of college exams and I'm super stressed and I'm having trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. I went with my wife to community acupuncture at the last minute because I'll try anything at this point. Community acupuncture is when you're in a room with a bunch of other people and you lie there with needles in you. Not
Sounds
normally
great.
the kind of thing I would do. I had a bunch of needles in my head and my ears. I kind of had to pee before I went in the room, but I decided I could hold it. So while I was lying there, I had a thought about a time I was in Thunder Bay at a Scout Jamboree in 1997.
Yeah, it's my home country.
I hadn't thought about
807.
I hadn't thought about this in a long time. The memory was of doing a smudge ceremony with sweetgrass, thinking about the cleansing smoke and how you use your hand to wash it over your head. Random thought. So when I'm done, I go out and I almost forget that I need to go to the bathroom. I go, and as I'm standing there taking a leak, I look to the right, and on the windowsill next to me is a spray bottle with the word smudge on it. Aromatherapy spray. Needless to say, I sprayed some and wafted over me like I would in a smudge ceremony. Will I sleep tonight? Maybe. Crazy dreams? Maybe.
I don't
see,
think
I
the
guess.
aerosol smudge counts. I don't think it's the same effect.
I love the show. Monthly donor Steven, keep up the good work. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
for your
Steve.
support.
Oh, fuck. You're the best. We love ya. Go, Steve.
I hope it worked.
Grimerica.ca/support.
Like Jayne was talking about, what she does, pranic healing, is like acupuncture in a
Pranic.
way. It's like energy healing in an acupuncture way. Very interesting.
It's
So I would
wonderful.
suggest to Steven and anybody else out there, try the meditation that's in the show notes.
I like the Palo Santo. Is that what it is? That wood
Yeah,
that I
I
burn
can't remember.
is fantastic. Smells lovely. I might do a little in here right now. You're sort of bugging me. I'll cleanse it up in here.
Why am I bugging
I'm just kidding.
you? You're not kidding, though. I am bugging it. I know.
No, you're not. You were bugging me this morning, but it's okay now.
Really? This morning,
Actually, no, that
early,
wasn't
like
this
at
morning.
work?
No,
Or,
this morning you're good. Yesterday morning you're all triggered up.
was I?
You're all grumpy first thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it just,
This morning you're all cheerful first thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just never know what you're going to get, eh?
Never know which gram I'm getting.
I didn't do my wow in the morning.
Oh, didn't you? You
I
didn't
didn't
do
do
the yes.
my affirmation.
Anyway, I digress.
All right, I got a couple quotes here if you want.
Profound UFO quote of the week.
You might be able to get this.
Of course I can.
Yeah. There are 3 claims in the ESP field which, in my opinion, deserve serious study. 1, that by thought alone, humans can barely affect random number generators in computers. 2, that people under mild sensory deprivation can receive thoughts or images projected at them. And 3, that young children sometimes report details of a previous life, which upon checking out turn out to be accurate, which they could not have known about in any other way other than reincarnation.
Is that it?
Oh, who said it?
Man or woman?
Man.
Shit.
It's 1996 book.
Huh.
Famous astronomer.
Astronomer?
Yep. Famous astronomer. Seems like a skeptic, but really after reading this quote.
Neil deGrasse. Oh, Carl Sagan?
Yeah.
Carl Sagan is not a skeptic.
It feels like it though. From most people think he's, that was from the demon haunted world. You don't think he's a skeptic?
No, I think Carl Sagan was pretty open to a lot of stuff.
Part of the cover up.
What?
He's part of the cover up.
You're part of the cover up. Grimerica.ca/swag.
That's a good one. You should put that on. You're part of the cover up. No, you're part of the cover up. He was part of the cover up. No, you're part of the cover up. Okay, you ready for this one? You might get this one too.
Yes, I'll be 2 for 2.
There will be, in the next generation or so, a pharmacological method of making people love their servitude and producing dictatorship without tears, so to speak, producing a kind of painless concentration camp for entire societies, so that people will, in fact, have their liberties taken away from them, but will rather enjoy it, because they will be distracted from any desire to rebel by propaganda or brainwashing enhanced by pharmacological methods.
George Orwell.
And this seems to be the final revolution.
George Orwell?
No.
No?
Close. He's an author.
Huh. I'm not guessing again.
He's an offer.
Pale horse?
He's an offer.
Pale horse guy?
No. Bill Cooper.
Bill Cooper?
Nope. William Cooper.
Dick Cooper?
No, he's it's been known now that
Just
he's
say his
part
name.
of it. Just trying to get you to guess a little bit. He's got a brother, a famous brother.
McKenna?
Psychedelics, social engineering.
Dennis McKenna?
Aldous Huxley.
Oh, I never got that. Oh, Brave New World. What, I forget what I was going to type into the search bar here. What were we just arguing about? Oh, Sagan.
Yeah, anyways.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. That's a Pink Floyd song.
Is it?
Yeah. We should just have that ready so I can play it when you say that.
What?
Keep talking.
Graham is an all-in believer
Thanks.
in chemtrails.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to the episode. It's pre-released while we're partying. Well, we're not partying. We're just hanging out.
Well, we're probably doing a full moon meditation with Jayne as we speak.
That's right. And tomorrow we'll be going on a trip with Randall Carlson.
We'll do a CE5 as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Fantastic. And we'll have another pre-released pre-released show coming up for you next week. Eric P. Antoni. Oh, I forgot to mention, it is the anniversary. By this time, we're about 6 days away from the 6-year anniversary, 350 episodes, 6 years. That's a lot of content, all free. Maybe you want to throw us a little anniversary bone. Grimerica.ca/support. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. Enjoy the chat with Jayne Jeffrey. It's fantastic.
All right, welcome everybody. We've got Jayne Jeffrey with us. She's going to be the healer at our Contact at the Cabin, or that's what she's been branded as anyways, which is fine with us. She's a former corporate director turned wellness coach, and she has over 10 years of experience in alternative healing, currently practicing pranic healing and Eden energy medicine as well. And she also provides group guided meditations and yoga instruction. So we're looking forward to getting a little bit of that action at the cabin. Welcome to the show, Jayne.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. I'm looking forward to meeting you.
I know. I feel like I already know you guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's the problem.
thing.
Actually, that's the problem we have. Because all the podcasts I listen to, I feel like I know them, but they really don't know me. But I feel like they should know me, even though I just listen to them. So it's
Well, I know your voices quite well. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's always a weird thing when you meet people that have been listening to you for years, and it's
They know
it's
you.
very
Like
humbling.
yeah.
They know you. They know about all the stuff you've been through because it all comes up in the show along the way. It's something else. We're happy to have you on. You've kind of been around. I mean, geez, I think Alan's been interacting for got to be 3 or 4 years at this point.
It has been a while because I used to listen to the podcasts a few years ago every day on my way to work at 6 a.m. It's been a while.
Nice. So did you know that Alan's got you scheduled for some group meditations coming up?
Alan throws me into the fire frequently, so I do my best to sort of live up to everyone's expectations and just try to go with the flow and make it happen.
That's great. I kind of had a feeling that that's what happened. So do you have it? Do you want to give us a little sneak peek on what we will do there? You want to start with that, Darren, or what?
Well, we can. The really exciting thing about the retreat is that Saturday is the most important full moon of the entire year.
Oh.
In India, it's actually called the Wesak moon, and it's the second of 3 really important moons. So the first is the moon in April where Easter is, and then the May one, which is the Wesak, and then the one in June following that. But the moon in May always has a very important spiritual meditation, with the tradition being that, or the tales go that Buddha actually appears in the sky for 8 solid minutes, during which there is a tremendous downpour of divine energy that helps everyone meditating during that time absorb that energy. So it is perfect for accelerating your spiritual advancement. It's perfect for manifesting health, well-being, blessing anybody, blessing your projects. Even people who are less developed absorb this energy. They just might not be quite as conscious of what has happened to them, but changes will still occur. So while we are in Colorado at the retreat, the full moon occurs at 3:11 in the afternoon. So I think I'm going to be a little bit creative about breaking up the important parts of the more formal meditation practice throughout the day. So we're gonna figure out how to get everybody absorbing all that divine energy without interrupting Randall's time during the day.
Yeah, exactly. So that full moon, so it's important for you to try and do something at that exact time of 3:11, or is it just that day or that night?
Real time is 3:11, but most full moon meditations for the Wesak moon take about an hour and a half to 2 hours with all the prep work, the meditation, and then some follow-up exercises.
Mm-hmm.
But we can break it up so that maybe we do some simple exercises early in the day before we start off on a trek with Randall. Maybe we can get Brandon Powell to do some breathing exercises for us at some point during the day. We might be able to take just 15 minutes at 3 o'clock and then do some very focused meditation work. So everybody can focus on whatever they want to manifest. we do that at 3:11, a little bit before and a little bit after. And then we can do a proper 35-minute meditation later in the evening. So
Oh,
we
I
still
see.
get that benefit.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
And
Yes.
then we can actually do the focused intent in the afternoon, or excuse me, in the evening to lead into the C study for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. The CE5s. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So maybe tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested and how you went from, I mean, I do love these stories of the sort of the corporate, I don't know if executive is the right term, but the corporate employee, at least to the spiritual, wellness teacher and all that. I mean, it is an interesting thing. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, sure. I had the good fortune of going to Egypt in 2017 with Nassim Harriman's first delegate gathering.
Yep.
And we were in the pyramids, all three pyramids on the Giza Plateau for 6 solid hours, 2 hours in each one, chanting the Om mantra with Nassim and 45 others in each pyramid.
Wow.
And I got one word the entire 2 hours at a time. One word. I'm like, what is this about? So I was still kind of spiritually clueless at the time. I was so heavily into my head in the corporate world. So I didn't say anything to anyone. 2 days later, I think it was 2 days later, I was in a presentation listening to Foster Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the overwhelming compulsion to call him father. Like, this is the strangest thing in the world. And I'm like, and I said, he doesn't look like my dad at all. And I don't want to call him dad. I wanted to call him father. And he was up there. He was on the presentation stage talking about his experience with another past life expert and how he and that person had been in a past life together as priests. So it finally occurred to me, I must have been a student studying under Foster at some point in another world.
Father Foster.
Yes, Father, yeah. So a couple of days later, I finally get up the courage to talk to Foster. I'm thinking he's going to think I'm a bit of a wingnut. So I went to him, I explained my situation, and I said, I told him the story. I said, I'm so sorry, but I feel like I'm supposed to call you father. And he was just kind of chuckling, and he said, well, I'd be quite honored. And I said, no, not a dad, a father. And so we talked a little bit, and he asked me why I was in Egypt. And I said, well, my husband brought me. And he said, well, what's your connection here? And I said, I'm not sure. I said, I was always fascinated with Nefertiti when I was a little kid. Long story short is, he starts now calling me Nefertiti for the rest of the trip. And a couple of days later, he actually gifts me a really large Nefertiti statue. So I was completely touched, and I said, oh my goodness, Foster, I'm so grateful. I said, I feel empowered. And he said, that's the intent with which I gave it. Well, lo and behold, that was the word I got in the pyramid, empowerment.
Oh,
so it
okay.
started to completely change my world. So as soon as I came back from Egypt, when I was in Egypt, I met the person that later became my shaman instructor. So as soon as I came back from Egypt, a week and a half later, I'm on the plane to take shaman classes. And all of this is just accelerating my awareness of the fact that I need to exit quickly from the corporate world because I knew I just did not fit any longer. And that was October of 2017. So December, I actually asked the chief officer of my department if I could get a severance package. And I finally got it a few months later. And so I left there in April, just a year ago.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So have you always been inclined to or been interested in sort of spiritual stuff, even though you were kind of in that other environment?
Well, not always know about 12 years ago, I started to study energy medicine under Donna Eden's work. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or not.
No.
But it is a really powerful system that is very, very similar to acupuncture, just without needles.
Okay.
She's a really brilliant person. And that's a long program. And I studied that. I became certified. But because I was still in the corporate world, I never made it a profession. I just practiced it on myself every day and then family and friends.
Yeah.
So I just tabled that. Well, right after I came back from Egypt in 2017, I happened to discover a class one evening on mantras and malas, and it was a free little seminar. So I went to it. And they kept talking about the class the next day. And I was like, well, what's this class about? And they said, oh, you should come. It's called Achieving Oneness with Your Higher Self. I had no idea what this was about. And they said, well, this is a really special occasion. It's the first time this class has been offered to the public because it's usually only offered to higher level students in the pranic healing realm. I said, oh, okay. So I came the next day and the next day. I actually ended up taking a more senior class to start with. I got in that class and I said, I don't know what pranic healing is, but I want to do it. So a month later, I started my entire pranic healing coursework, and that was January of 2018. By June of last year, I'd taken the first 4 classes plus advanced work. I did my certification program, and now I'm working to become a teacher of pranic healing.
Wow, that's great.
Is that so? Did you what spurred you to want to heal? Is there like is it just in you, or is there something specific? Like, did you have an ailment personally that you were trying to clear up, or someone else maybe?
I think I have the innate desire to help others feel better. I was one of the rare birds that entered pranic healing without ever having a pranic healing session. Most people enter it because they are clients of a pranic healer. And ultimately, if you go often for pranic healing sessions, it's far more economical if you just learn the system yourself. It's an incredibly simple, very powerful technique. And the founder, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, he had a goal when he introduced it to the public to have a pranic healer in every household. It's that easy to learn.
How long are you at the conference?
3 days, the first trimester.
Can you learn it in 3 days?
I learned the very first class, basic pranic healing, in a day and a half. So yes, but I'd have to steal time from Randall, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, I know my wife is not going to be too interested in Randall, but she's probably going to be pretty interested in hearing about pranic healing, I would guess.
I'm happy to share with her. I'm not eligible to teach her yet.
Oh, I don't think she minds that. She's happy to hear any wisdom she can find, for sure. She was actually happy to hear you were coming.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she wasn't sure what she was getting into, but she remembered that you had tried doing some distance healing on her a few years ago, and she's excited. She's on the path to wanting to get to healing. She's, on the path to healing herself. So
is she feeling better?
She's getting better. Yeah, she hasn't had any of those attacks that severe in over a year now. So
great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, pranic healing can. I actually never had a chance to work with her that time, but pranic healing is excellent for self-healing techniques. There are a number of them, and as a pranic healer, I feel really fortunate because every time I do a healing session on someone else, I get healed as well.
I could see that being the case.
My girlfriend would be really interested, Maria, as well, in meeting you and going through that. I mean, she was just talking today that she's got a massive migraine for the last 2 days, and she's got some Reiki. She's got level 2 Reiki as well, but she's trying to heal herself and all, but it's just not working right now. Like she just can't. She does not. Like when you get into that migraine state, I think it's really hard to get out of it. So I'm sure she'd be interested in just learning a little bit more about the pranic stuff as well.
Yeah, I will actually share that. Kind of like that old shoemaker tale that the shoemaker never has their own shoes fixed. I'm kind of the one that never works on myself.
Yeah.
I'm really great at working on my friends and my family and all my clients, but working on myself is the bottom of my list.
Yeah.
So I'd rather work on your girlfriend and dear and your wife. we'll do that.
I just managed to get through a full cycle of antibiotics. I followed the whole thing for the whole 8 days or whatever, and I didn't go off of the regiment. Now I have some probiotics to get on. But that was the first time I've ever done all my antibiotics. So I don't know if that's not really a great example, but I did it every day for a week. I felt like that was self-care in a way.
Oh my God.
Well, I read a stat that said that something like 70% of people don't finish their prescriptions properly.
Yeah.
They just stop doing it halfway through.
Well, with chronic healing, we actually can often help reduce the number of prescriptions people take.
Yeah, I bet, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Our general consensus is to try and stay away from pharmaceuticals whenever possible.
Yeah.
But you had a pretty bad tooth infection, or was that what it was?
Yeah.
After you
It's
get your
finally
tooth
starting to get better now. It hasn't bugged me. It's still bugging me. I think that's just because of the act of it being ripped out of my face more so than the infection. So I'm hoping there's no more infection.
Well, Darren, if you had called, we could have worked on that with pranic healing.
Well, there's still time. It still hurts a little.
Okay. You can call me tomorrow.
I still talk funny. I find like I'm having trouble talking. I'm having trouble with the tooth gone.
Sorry. Did you know that all your teeth actually correspond to particular energy meridians?
No, but I'm missing 2 now. So I'd like to protect the other ones however possible.
The best way is to actually keep your chakras clean.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I do that?
You get a pranic healer in your family.
I'm working on that.
Either that, or you can call me, or I can put you in touch with pranic healers.
Is that one of the main premises behind it then? Like, as in, you mentioned acupuncture without the needles. So you mean the chakras, the energy systems, and you're working on those constantly to keep things flowing, or?
Correct. Pranic healing is actually very similar to acupuncture, probably more similar to acupuncture than to Reiki, because like acupuncture, we use multiple energy bodies, and they have different types of energy bodies, and they overlap. And then we use certain acupuncture points as our chakras. And pranic healing has a system that focuses on 11 major chakras, whereas most people are only aware of 7 major chakras. So we go in to the chakras and we clean out all the congested energies, dirty disease energies that build up in the chakras or anywhere in your energy body, and then dispose of that in a very appropriate, proper manner. So you're just not throwing the energy kind of out in the ether and somebody walks through it or drags it somewhere else. And then we would energize as appropriate, whether we're working on, let's say, a tooth that might hurt. We would have a very specific protocol to address the infection or inflammation and energize or clear as needed. And we scan the chakras before we do a session, during the session, and afterwards to make sure everything's balanced. Much of the work that we do in pranic healing is actually focused on simply clearing all of the congestion in the chakras. And we just call it cleansing. It's like 80% of the work we do. And by the time you clean out a chakra, oftentimes you don't even need to go back and energize it because the energy might be there. It might just be built up, kind of like a clog in your plumbing system. The water's flowing, but the drain might be clogged, so it can't get through. And then there's just backup somewhere else down the line. So pranic healing would go in and clear out that clog. And then once we do, the energy flows. It's not like you have to increase the pressure in the pipe. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So is that sort of like, do you think that's sort of down the same road? Is that like sort of taking the placebo and really focusing it in and is that the kind of, I guess if you're doing it to other people, it's kind of not, but are you working with the same sort of, because I kind of come from the belief that it's all sort of the same, the magic, the placebo, the healing stuff, it's all sort of using the same force. I'm not sure what it is, but
Prana.
maybe it's prana.
It's prana, hence pranic healing. Thank you, Graham. Well, I will say,
Or chi. I mean, they've all got their own word for it, right?
I do it into
your life force.
into manifestation and intention and stuff like that too. It's all like fruit from the same tree.
Intention is really important. I have clients who aren't as receptive from the start. They might be skeptical, or they simply may not want to be healed at a subconscious level. They might want to say, oh yeah, I really want to be well. But if I was to energy test them or scan, I could actually determine if they really want to be healed. They may not want to be healed because they might like having diabetes because it gives them extra attention. They get off work to go to their doctor. They might want to have this belief that people will give them sympathy because they have to watch their diet or take medicine. There's all kinds of really fascinating reasons why people really don't want to be well. The beautiful thing about that is, as a pranic healer, we can go in and we can make them a little bit or increase their receptivity. And then we can also go in on a different level with a different kind of protocol and work on the emotional component with pranic psychotherapy to try to extract all of those negative emotions that are blocking their health and wellness. That's the really powerful part of pranic healing that I love.
That sounds like a useful part. That seems to be the biggest hang up, I would say, for a lot of people, right? A lot of your aches and pains are coming back to pent up something or other from down the line.
Well, it's subconscious probably.
I wonder what's going on. My shoulder's
right?
been a real mess for a long time. I don't know what's in there, but it's got to be dramatic.
Yeah, every physical ailment has the root cause in an emotional imbalance in some way.
Unless you get
my belief.
Stabbed or something.
Yeah. So what I love is, if I ask a client, how long have you had a backache? And then they say, oh, just a couple of days. And that's an easier one to help provide relief for. I can't really say heal because I'm not a doctor. But if someone came to me and said, oh, my back has been a problem for 10 solid years, and they're constantly complaining about it, and they're constantly taking medications, and they let it impede their lifestyle, that has created for them so many attachments that it's much more difficult to get out. And sometimes get out, as in terms of all of the emotional layers around that, because it could be, if it's a low back pain, it's often around financial worry or stress. So we'd want to go back in and find out when the pain first surfaced, what their situation was at that time, were they cognizant of any significant stressors, things like that. So it becomes an investigative process from both a conscious intellectual realm as well as a physical and emotional understanding of the person's history. So it takes time.
That's time doctors don't have. They just send us for
Insurance
expensive
pays you to
scans.
keep going back to the doctor or the physical therapist over and over and over again. Insurance doesn't pay for pranic healing.
Ours might.
It might if it's under naturopathy. Ours would. $500 a year, anyways.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
so I just need to align myself with a naturopath.
Yeah, not that you can do that, but you know what I mean. Like some that, like I get a different thing called prolotherapy done, and it's covered under naturopathic medicine. But
So
I think
That's
that's just because he's a naturopathic doctor is the only reason why he can do that.
Oh, so
under
that's the
there.
trick. So if you get the naturopath thing, then you'd be covered under a lot of. You're not covered under Canadian healthcare, but you're covered under like private insurance through work or whatever else.
Well, I do know in the States, a lot of acupuncturists and massage therapists work with chiropractors because more and more insurance companies cover chiropractors, and now more are covering acupuncture. So I have friends that that go to massage therapists in an acupuncturist office, and then that's covered by insurance because it's billed through the chiropractor.
Huh.
That's what we got to get you your naturopath license.
Yeah, our massage is covered separately, so we don't even have
Beautiful.
to do the workaround on the massages here.
Not yet.
$500.
They're gonna take it away.
Yeah, you think so?
Maybe.
I think so.
It's getting abused a bit.
Maybe I'll move to Canada.
You get $500. You should use the $500. That's not abusing it.
Oh, yeah, mine's
It's
used by
using it.
like May. Mine's used already.
They take like $45 a check off that. Got to use it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is with pranic healing, my clients don't even have to come to me. Whereas all of those other practitioners, you have to go visit them.
True.
And so distance
Yeah.
doesn't matter or anything like that.
No, the beautiful thing about one of the beautiful things about pranic healing is that we do not touch our clients at all. So whether or not I had a client in my office laying on a massage table and I was working on them, I would be working on them a foot away from their body. So whether they're there or whether they're 3,000 miles away or a day away, it doesn't matter. I tap into their energy system with intent and with focus and with visualization. So it works.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like Reiki's got that level of, and it's about distance healing as well. It's kind of similar.
That's what you say. You
But-
keep saying that, but
What do you mean I keep saying that?
I don't know. I have trouble buying the long distance Reiki.
Yeah, I
Reiki
know what you
seems
mean. No,
more
I know
like-
what you mean. It's hard to wrap your head around, but when,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, here's what we'll do in a couple of weeks at the retreat. We will do a pranic healing session on you, which is distant because I won't be touching you. And you could be in the same room or you could be somewhere else at the venue, and we'll see how you feel.
yeah, that's a good idea. So you feel like if I was a foot away from you, it's okay, but if I'm in the next province, it's not?
That's right.
Yeah, there's a distance
Oh.
thing there, yeah.
That's because, Darren, you probably have the belief that somebody needs, in order for an effect to take place, you have to physically see them do it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
I mean, especially with Reiki, because it always seems to be that. And I've experienced with Reiki where you can start to feel the warm, you feel the heat. When they're doing the Reiki thing on you, you start to feel the heat build up. And Graham says he's doing it. And I don't feel nothing.
Well, how do you feel afterwards?
I've never done it on you, I don't think.
Yeah, you have. I remember one time you're like,
Really?
I'm going to send you some long distance Reiki. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Well, I thought Reiki, I didn't know there was long distance Reiki.
I don't
Yeah.
think there is long distance Reiki. This is my point.
Maybe it's Graham Reiki.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's just my own
He's
little
a
version.
He's a
Yeah, I
Reikist.
just made it up.
Graham the Reikist.
Yeah. So what are the other four chakras that we all don't know about? I mean, I've heard of 11 and 12 in some other systems, but what are the other four?
I heard
then?
33 the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
Well, if I actually told you, we even use minor chakras, which are in a lot of the joints, and mini chakras, like at the tip of your fingers. there are chakras everywhere in your body. So the major ones we use are the crown chakra, the forehead chakra, and the ajna chakra. That's a huge difference because most people just call it the third eye chakra.
Yeah.
And the reason being that the forehead chakra and the ajna chakra are so close, they're often seen as one.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big difference. And it's important to distinguish them because they have different functions.
Is the lower one then corresponding to your pineal gland? And that's why people say that because people do say one of them, people think it is, but it's not.
Yeah, the ajna chakra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the throat chakra.
Yeah.
But and then we have a front heart chakra and a back heart chakra. The pair. Front solar plexus and a back solar plexus chakra. We have a navel chakra. We have a sex chakra, a basic chakra. So again, those two are often just the root chakra. Right?
And there's actually two.
Yep. And then there is a migraine chakra, which is on your back opposite the navel, but it's not a pair with the navel.
And then there's all the one
chakra has a front chakra and a back chakra.
And then you start getting into your elbows and your wrists and everything else. So how many is there total if you were to go to all the chakras?
Oh gosh. Well, you have major chakras, minor chakras, mini chakras, and micro chakras. So I have no idea. There's several hundred.
108.
That's what I was going to say.
No,
I was going to say, I bet you there's 108. The 108 thing is blowing
Maybe
my
it's
mind.
801. How about that?
Yeah.
It's a lot because there's a chakra in every organ. Or more than, like in your liver, you're going to have 3 chakras.
Huh.
Really? What
There's
about
a lot of chakras? And when we do protocols, some protocols will address specific chakras or maybe all of your major chakras, but they will also then address certain organs. So it could be I'm doing something to just give someone an overall healing. It's called a super healing technique where I might go in and clean most of the most of the major chakras, but I'm also going to go in and clean the liver and the lung and the kidneys and the spleen.
What about so how about if someone gets like surgery or something like that? Can that cause some pranic problems and some chakra problems and stuff like that?
It can very much do that. And interestingly, when someone has surgery, if we know beforehand, we will work for a few days beforehand to regularly clean and balance their chakras to prepare their body as much as possible before the surgery. And then if I can, I will do a pranic healing session during their surgery. And then again, as soon as they're out, because I want to re-energize and balance their chakras. And then I'll continue that for a few days just to get them through the surgical procedure. And then depending upon what the surgery was for, I would go in and also address that particular condition. I have heard recently, a friend of mine had an operation, and one of our masters told her to actually play the meditation on twin hearts, which is the mainstay of pranic healing meditations, during her operation. Just put it in her headphones and listen to it over and over and over again during the operation, because that will help keep her energy stronger.
Interesting.
So how do you sense that people have blocked chakras, or how can I sense that mine are blocked? Because it's hard to feel anything in the body sometimes, you gotta
really try and focus
when
in.
I'm meditating, a lot of times I really feel the third eye tingling or my crown chakra, but as far as like feeling the heart or any other ones, it's hard.
Well, we scan for the energy. So if I could actually sit here right now and I say, okay, let me scan Graham's crown chakra. And it might be like, you can't really see in the computer, but I can scan the energy, and then I can say, let me scan for congested energy. And I might find that it's congested. I might find that it's really strong, clean energy. I can scan I can scan how activated or how congested it is. So I'm scanning two ways, the size of it and how clean it is. And I
Okay.
would do that for all of your major chakras before I actually did a session on you.
How long does that take?
The session or the scanning?
The scanning.
Just a couple of minutes.
Like, so just a few seconds per chakra type thing?
I would go crown, forehead, ajna, throat, front heart, back heart, front solar plexus, back solar plexus, navel, sex, basic, front spleen, back spleen, Mingmen. And then I'll go do them again to check congestion. It's that quick. And then I just write them down, take a note. And then as I'm going through a session, depending upon what the protocol is, I would scan everything to make sure it's clean and balanced, and then which of them need additional energy.
So do you provide the energy, or is it just a matter of moving the existing energy around the body?
I draw it in. So in pranic healing, we actually don't use our energy. We draw the energy in from another source. And then we project it back out. So I happen to be left-handed, and if you see the screen. So I would bring it into my right hand and project it out to my client with my left hand.
So is that sort of tapping in the same energy, like where the pyramids are and stuff like that? That's already going around the planet, the ley lines, and you just grab
It
that.
is a universal energy. So I sometimes call myself a general contractor. Really. I'm not the one that heals a person. I am the one that can help draw in the energy needed to help someone get their body in peak condition for the body to heal itself.
Yeah, that's similar to Reiki too. It's similar philosophy in a way. You know, you're just the channel in a way and the facilitator. Yeah.
So does it work better at sacred sites?
I have yet to try it at a sacred site.
Like if someone's got something real bad, you got to get them to the Great Pyramid, get them into that
King's Chamber,
and then you can like
let's all go to Egypt and try that.
We'll try and grow Graham's hair back.
I will say that it works more easily when the space that I am in is energetically really clean. So I keep my space very clean. I play the Om mantra by Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui pretty much 24/7, even if it's on a very, very low volume. I have that running all the time. I keep my energy tools clean. I keep all my crystals clean. I get them consecrated. I use sound from Master Choa to recharge them and strengthen them so that I can be as efficient and as effective as possible. I will say that when a client is in a clean space and it's a distant healing session, then it is also easier for them to receive the energy. If I were working on someone remotely who is in the hospital, it is a lot more difficult for the energy to actually penetrate all of the congestion in a hospital.
Isn't that ironic? Eh? It's probably the worst place to do distance healing on somebody.
So what about like broadcasting? Do you think we get to the point where we could use all these radio towers we made to just broadcast healing, just broadcast and pranic healing all the time? Can you
turn the 5G network into like pranic healing?
There you go.
It's probably possible. I think we just need to get a lot of people together to set the intent to repurpose that energy channel.
Do you think it's Haiti thought that, what was it? She thought if she get 3% of the couples on the planet, or 3% of people on the planet.
Was it 3 million people or a million people?
It was 3%, 180 million.
180 million? Okay.
If she get 3% of the people on the planet to start compassionately communicating, and that's the 3% is kind of the tipping point for a pandemic, but a good one. I don't know what the word for a good pandemic is.
I think it would work. I'm really eager to do the intent work at the retreat after we do the meditation, depending on how many people get together. I don't know if it's going to be 25 or 40. I don't know what the numbers are. But if we get everyone together working with a single focus on that intent, something is going to happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Very.
What do you think will happen?
Darian, you're skeptical, aren't you?
I'm not skeptical.
He's not nearly as skeptical as he used to be. Like, this show is changing his mind. It's blowing it wide open.
I can get into that. I can get into that. I might have to watch the kids for that one so that Lisa could do it. But I like to intend stuff. I'm constantly intending stuff.
He's really been.
The problem is I'm also constantly intending bad stuff. So I was trying to balance out the two.
Well,
it's hard not to get up in the morning, the alarm's going off. It's like, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
But, you try and snap out of it. And because it's got to be that subconscious level, right? You get it.
Well, the beauty is when we teach you more about pranic healing, you will probably naturally think more about good intentions.
Good intentions are good.
Yeah, it just comes naturally because the more you study pranic healing, the more you become a kinder, more loving, more spiritual person. You cannot deny it. Like, you can't avoid that development. It is part of the practice.
That's interesting.
Is that what you found in your healing journey?
Yeah,
You hung them up early.
Hung up what?
Your healing boots.
No, I didn't. They're not hung up. I
You still rake. I bet you're raking all over the place.
Yeah.
But you didn't pursue the.
No, we did this instead.
Oh,
the
this
podcast.
Oh, I ruined your healing career. I see. Well, I better slow down on getting Alan set up with mics and stuff over there. I don't want to ruin Jayne's healing career.
Well, actually, a lot of pranic healers have two careers. A lot of people don't do it full time.
It'd probably be too much.
Too much? Pardon?
It's kind of is it kind of like underwater welding where you only want to be doing it so much? You don't want to be doing 10 hours a day of pranic healing. It just gets to be too much energy you're playing with, or?
No. When you do pranic healing correctly, we detach ourselves. We cut the energy connection between ourselves and our clients after every session so that we aren't connected with them and they are not connected with us, and we are not then drained by their energy. And we also have numerous techniques that we can use to recharge our energy between sessions. So if we're doing the work correctly and properly cleaning ourselves of that congested energy that we're removing from a client during a session, we're fine. We can keep on going.
So what about if you're can you do it? Can you work through it if you're having a bad day, your car's broken or whatever's going on in your personal life? So Jayne's just having a terrible day. Can you still pranic heal, or do you have to kind of take that day off and find your focus?
And start the day over.
Yeah, Graham's got the right idea. So actually the first thing I would do is, pick up the phone and call, 1-800 Pranic Healing hotline. And at the other end of it is probably one of my really good pranic healing friends. I said, can you quickly help? But I actually have a lot of tools in front of me that I can use to quickly shift something that might be throwing me off. The first is the meditation on twin hearts. It is a very short, incredibly powerful meditation that is specifically designed to open and expand your heart chakra so that it then increases the energy and connection with your crown chakra. When you do these things, you automatically feel better. It immediately dispels any angst and anger that you might be feeling. Research shows this time and time again.
So it's actually waking up in the morning to your alarm, even that kind of stuff will change. Like Darren was saying, those repetitive negative thoughts or reactions will change as you become more as your heart opens up, as it connects to your crown, that's physically changing you, or is there there's also another I think there's another deeper thing that when you start meditating and you start trying to feel all this stuff, I think it helps too. I think you become more compassionate as well, but I don't know what it is.
It actually expands your spiritual cord. So the spiritual cord is the energy channel that enters through your crown from your higher self, and it goes through your pineal gland, through your emotional seat in your heart, and through your mental seat in your solar plexus chakra. So most people have a spiritual cord that might be super tiny, maybe a couple strands of hair thick. But the more you meditate, the bigger that cord gets. So you can go through life and scan someone's spiritual cord that you're working with and just get a sense of where they are in their world. Well, the more you meditate, and as Graham said, you become more compassionate, you become more aware of others, you're less self-centered, you're more loving, but it's a balanced awareness. And every time you do this, in a few months, you're going to realize your spiritual cord is significantly larger if you were to meditate regularly. And if you were to scan a master's spiritual cord, it's off the map.
Mm-hmm.
It is phenomenal how much the shift takes place. So I was actually reading something recently. The meditation on Twin Hearts will improve your overall well-being because it's going to clean your chakras every single time you do it. It releases all the negative emotions. It releases the negative thoughts. It releases all kinds of tendencies to criticize or judge or gripe. You know, all this stuff that a lot of people do.
Yeah, and that affects your vibration. It really does. I mean, just being in a state of gratitude will physically affect your physiology, which is really interesting. And I mean, they've studied that. So what? Yeah. How do you recycle the negative energy? Do you put it through the earth? Like, does the earth recycle it for you?
Yeah, you can push it down into the earth and transmute it. We also use techniques like we in Pranic healing use a bioplasmic disposal unit, also known as a bucket of salt water. So you use a non-iodized salt, preferably sea salt, and you put it in water, and then you intend all of that negative energy to go into that bucket of water. We use cleaning sprays that we make, and we constantly wash our hands, and we take all of that contaminated water, throw it down the toilet or the loo. You never put it down an actual sink. Rumor has it that it can clog your drains. So the intent is always to dispose of properly. We're very careful not to just throw it on the ground or throw it by the wayside.
Don't dump it in the ocean.
You can dump it in the ocean, yeah, because it's transmuted by Mother Earth. I actually one day asked someone specifically, like, hang on, if I'm dumping all this toxic energy into the ocean, what about the fish? And somebody said, no, it's okay because Mother Earth will transmute it all. It's completely fine.
That's like part of the
They're going to think you're up to something else anyway if they see you dumping stuff in the ocean.
Yeah. You're like, it's dirty energy water.
Instead of dirty energy, just dirty energy, I said.
It's just negative energy water. Come on.
So can you like, if you're like, say, an evil pranic healer, I don't know if those exist, but can you like store up that evil energy? And like, because there's all this mythology about fire, throwing fireballs and wizards being able to throw fireballs and stuff like that. Can you like, and you were talking earlier about how you can't leave light negative energy like lying around because someone could come upon it and now it's their problem. So could you fire that negative energy at people if you wanted to? Could you use your powers for evil?
Well, interesting question. I suppose if I had some serious malicious intentions, I probably could use it to some unkind purpose, but I don't know because I just wouldn't do that. That's a very interesting question. I'd have to be a different me. How about that?
Well, I don't think he meant you personally.
No,
he's like one, if one could,
Well, if one were pranic healer, I would say no, because a pranic healer would have such conscious intentions to always send the good out.
I feel like the
It would be
opposite of
some-
that would be like necromancy or something.
Well,
I mean,
it's
there is
almost
people like that practice necromancy and different types of magic. And
Yeah,
like,
and there's a lot of stories about that back in the day. And back in the day, we didn't have TVs and cell phones and newspapers and, keeping up with the Joneses and everything else to distract us. You just had nothing. There was nothing to do.
except for practice your energy work.
Well, you had to survive
Yeah.
and shit. But
See how
there was
much
a lot.
damage you could do to somebody. Let's just see, like, how much good do you do, or how much damage? Let's just play some bets. Who's going to have the bigger effect, the good or the bad? I will say that with pranic healing, that we have to be very careful. There are specific protocols for hundreds of different conditions. It's like a recipe book, and if the protocol hasn't yet been written for a condition, enough approach has been written so we know how to solve for a new condition. However, when we know how to shift the energy, Darren, as you say, one could use it probably for some ill purpose. So we would have to be careful. And if a pranic healer were being careless, they could do some damage.
Yeah.
Or they could accidentally train someone who is like Darth Vader.
But the love, like the real pranic energy, the positive energy is more powerful than the negative energy.
Yeah.
Let's
I
hope.
tell them, the fastest way to clear it all is through love.
Yeah.
Feels like it's coming to a head in a lot of ways and a lot of different aspects of the stuff we cover right now. I mean, it's, you got little mini battle stuff that were kind of little battles a few years ago are turning into all out wars.
Yeah. Can you find that? Can people listen to that twin flame meditation on YouTube or something like that? Or
Oh yeah, there's actually a free version on YouTube. It's called the Meditation on Twin Hearts. It's an abridged version. It's 18 minutes and some odd seconds. I think it's 27 or 47 seconds. It's by Master Stephen Coe.
Stephen
It's a great introduction to the meditation on twin hearts.
18 minutes and how many seconds do you know? Like 27 you said or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It's 18 and a half minutes
18
long.
and a half, okay.
Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me whether it's 18 or 19 minutes. It's
No, it
really
should.
short.
No, but that's how a lot of times you find it because it's exactly the right one, right? If it was like 1859, then
It's
probably
from
not.
Master Coe.
There's only one by Master Coe.
Okay.
That's an abridged version. You won't miss it.
Is that Master CO or Master?
Yeah, and he goes by Master Stephen Coe, Stephen.
Okay, I spelled it
In
wrong.
fact, I have it on my phone all the time. And Abridged Meditation on Twin Hearts is the name of it.
Is it guided?
It is. So a lot of people don't like guided meditations, but this one is important because there are so many hidden meanings inside it. And I don't even know all of the hidden meanings. I have to be a much more advanced Arhatic yoga practitioner to get to that point where I'm like old enough to know what's going on. So it shifts your energy. It opens your connections. It is a very powerful meditation. I have a meditation group I teach every Monday morning, and I play different versions of the meditation on twin hearts. Sometimes they're the 18 and a half minute version. Sometimes they're 35 minutes. It just depends on what I'm doing with the group. And they're all forms of self-healing.
Wow, that's great. I just sent it to my my girlfriend to see if she can, maybe that'll help her migraine right now.
Good.
It seems like it'd be tough to meditate during a migraine.
I know, but anything will probably help. I think she's at the point where anything will help right now. Or anything couldn't hurt much worse. Is probably a better way to put it.
Yeah.
So what can we talk about the oming in the pyramid? Because before I forget and we run out of time, like speaking of oming and the pyramids in different contexts, you guys were in there. Like I went to the King's Chamber once and I just didn't have enough spiritual reverence to really acknowledge or to recognize what was there. Like, I mean, it was kind of cool and all that. And I'm sure I had a couple minutes of silence in there by myself, but I wish I would have ohmed or done something. And if there's a lot of people in there oming like that, must have been pretty crazy.
It was very powerful.
Did you see any lights in there while you're oming? Because apparently, if you can get to the point where you resonate a sound to a certain frequency, it'll turn into light.
I'm unaware
That's
of
how you
that.
cut the stones?
I don't know.
The lightsaber?
But my friend's mother, who does CE5s with us, she was toning in a dark restaurant with blind workers there, and she sparked something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want to work with her. Well, we actually had a couple of lights because there were 45 of us in the King's Chamber, and we each were wearing an arc crystal from the sim.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Yep. But you could explain
Okay.
it for people, because I'd like to. I was going to ask you about that anyway, so you should explain
Okay.
that.
Well, there's another interesting story about the arc crystal. But the arc crystal, I'm not the best one to explain it. It is a man-made crystal that Nassim designed probably close to 30 years ago, that is of such precision, it resonates with the space-time continuum. So what it does when you wear it is that it alters your frequency, because it alters the frequency of water. So we had 45 people approximately in the King's Chamber, each of us wearing one of these crystals for 2 solid hours, as well as Nassim having 64 of these crystals in a tetrahedron grid.
Wow.
He put that inside the so-called sarcophagus, which is not a sarcophagus. And we each then got to climb into that box and lay there for about a minute and experience it. And now I was there at the end of it, so like my time was really short, and I honestly I was not conscious of kind of a different experience. It was just so rushed. But people came out of that completely changed. And I know I was, even though my brain could not comprehend what had happened to me.
Yeah.
And we did that for 2 hours in each of those pyramids.
So were you oming for quite a long time as well, altogether? Like
For 2 hours in each pyramid.
Really? Like the whole time oming? Like, wow, that must have been crazy.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The entire 2 hours.
Did you lose your voice?
No, but what happened is like sweat was just, it was so hot. Sweat was just rolling down our arms and everybody was soaked. It was not very comfortable.
Unless you were
It was powerful.
in the seed box.
Pardon?
Darren thinks that's a seed box, not a sarcophagus. It's for the people that put seeds there for when the next cataclysm happens.
It would work, but I'm pretty sure it's neither of those.
Maybe it's both.
So what do you think it is then? A transformation chamber?
I think it's a resonance box. I think it's some kind of protector. When you go to if you've been to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, it's fascinating. There's lots of those boxes. Actually, we saw them throughout Egypt. And they're very massive boxes, maybe 6 feet long by 3 or 4 feet wide and about 3 feet tall. And they're 6 to 8 inches thick. And they're square, rigid boxes. There's nothing nice or comfortable about them. And then you go in to see Tutankhamun's tomb, where there is actually a sarcophagus, and it matches the shape of a body. You're like, wait a second. Okay, I get that he was, prince, but why would that one be so significantly more ornate than one over here by another king? There's one king and then there's another king, and how come this one king deserves all the gold and the gild and the lapis and this one doesn't? Doesn't make any sense. And then there are similar boxes in the museum that are intricately carved. So there's something else going on. I'm not an Egyptologist. I have no idea, but it just didn't resonate with what, no pun intended, with what the mainstream story is.
No, for sure, yeah. I wonder if they're made in that sacred geometry 4x3. Those all the rectangles that are made in the 4.
Oh, the golden rectangle?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, I bet you they are.
Probably.
And you go in there for a couple minutes to get your shit together?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the deprivation tank.
Could be. I have no idea.
Maybe that's how you pick up the Tesla beaming pranic healing that's always broadcasting. You hop in the box. You feel, I'm feeling down today. You're going to hop in the box. Bingo. That doesn't explain why the one in the King's Chamber. Maybe the one in the King's Chamber is where you broadcast from.
You know, there was a symbol at the bottom that looked like a little pair of headphones, maybe. I don't know. Could be some ancient Egyptian headphone symbol.
It's a Bluetooth symbol.
Maybe.
We got to go to Egypt. That's it. We're going to Egypt.
Definitely. Hey, next year.
Maybe not next year. Do you have to get a malaria shot to go to Egypt?
No,
No?
you don't. But you know, but it is kind of dirty, I will say.
I know maybe it's just Africa. There's one of those countries you go to, you have to get one of those vaccines that seems a little sketchy.
Egypt is in Africa, the continent.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. That could be a problem.
Egypt's fine.
Did you get
No.
any shots? You didn't get any shots when you went there?
No, thank you.
Perfect.
Mm-mm.
So you
Yeah.
still wear your art crystal then?
Every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is the other really cool story. So I recently went to a pranic healing retreat because I am now doing the second arm of pranic healing called Arhatic Yoga. And Master Ko, he's one of 8 masters in the world. Master Stephen Ko, he's based in California. He was there. He wears an arc crystal. I was like, oh, that's so wild. So one night at dinner, he actually joined our table and I was sitting opposite him. And he did a fascinating energy scan with me wearing the crystal and with me without the crystal, because everybody was asking about what this crystal was, because he and I each had one and no one else around had one. And so he said, okay, everybody scan Jayne's energy without the crystal. And everybody scanned and it was really smooth and the chakra was pretty large. And he said, okay, put the crystal back on. He said, now what do you see? And everybody's like, oh my, it's finely vibrating. It's a different frequency. It doesn't make the chakras bigger. It makes them a different frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It was really wild.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Where do you get an art crystal? Can I get one on the internet?
I'll put a link in the show notes. But yeah, you can buy them.
Get us some
You
art
can buy
crystals.
them.
We need some art crystals.
Yeah, they're fairly dear.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Or
means.
you can go to the delegate conferences, and I think one usually comes with a program.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm less likely to do that. But I wouldn't mind having a couple. Just a few art crystals. Are they expensive?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they're
$600,
kind of
$700 I think, something like that. Yeah. More than that? Really?
Oh, yeah.
800, 900?
If you just buy them outright, I think they're $1,200.
Yeah, well, maybe wow. I thought
Can
they
we
were
make
only.
these somehow?
Pardon?
Can we make these somehow?
If you have the technology to molecularly structure crystals into a sacred geometrical shape.
I might.
I will say the very first time I wore mine, it was before we got ours just before we went to Egypt. And we were out riding our bicycles one day in the neighborhood. And I suddenly could not discern space in front of me. Everything just morphed. What the heck was that? It happened for a split second. A few minutes later, maybe a block or two down the road, it happened again. Uh-oh, I better get off my bike before I fall off my bike. So I stopped, stood by the curb, and I said, I don't know what just happened to me, but had I ever done LSD, I think I probably was tripping. And I'm pretty darn sure it was because of that crystal. That had never happened to me before. It immediately altered my frequency or vibration. It was profound.
You were attuning to it or something. Your body was
Yeah.
attuning to it.
Sounds
It
dangerous.
wasn't.
to do
It
already.
didn't come with instructions like when you get a new pair of glasses or new pair of contacts. It says wear for 2 hours a
Before
day,
you
increasing by 1 hour at a time. It didn't do that. I just put the thing on and kept on going.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit too much at one time.
Huh. Well, we can't afford any art crystals, unfortunately, but one day maybe we can get one.
Yeah. We'll share it.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I'll get the even days. You get the odd days. There we go. or crystal
Yeah.
it up. I mean,
Hey, you could probably intend to just get one. Use your
We
intent.
could. Let's do it.
powers.
yeah, that could backfire. You got to be careful. You know, it's kind of like the genie in the bottle. You know, the genie that you rub the lamp and the genie comes out and you have 3 wishes and the wishes always backfire. And I feel like in a lot of ways, intent can work like that too if you're not careful.
I think it depends on the sincerity of your intent.
Because I think there's like 90% of the population that are intending right where they are, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
Can you ask me that again?
Well, like just the set of the population that's just, you know, grinding out at work all day, pissed off, bitchy, grabbing some McDonald's or some other fast food on the way home and then spending the rest of their night, you know, playing video games or watching television and then going to sleep and doing it all over. And that's, you know, that's it, except they might get shit-faced on the weekend.
Yeah. There's a you could think about it in regard to the fact that we all create our own world.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of theories exist about we get back what we put out there. So if we're saying that, if we're constantly griping, we're thinking like, oh, you know, I hate my job, my boss sucks, or, you know, I just don't want to do this or don't want to do that. You keep putting out into the universe all of those beliefs. So you're going to get that back. If you change your mindset, as Graham said earlier, and you express the gratitude, if you acknowledge the good, if you realize life is a heck of a lot better than you're painting that picture to be, a lot of good comes back really quickly. It's your mindset. It's what you want to focus on. What you want to focus on is what's going to show up. You know, there's examples. If you go and buy a yellow, a yellow Volkswagen, you're now suddenly going to see a ton of yellow Volkswagens because it's in your conscious awareness. It happens.
Yeah. That's like when you
Somebody
start
said that. Somebody named that effect the other night, and they said yellow, and I was gonna say it's called the Volkswagen bug effect.
I thought it was
an actual name.
Isn't it
for
the
that.
Streisand effect? Or is
No,
that something
that's something
different?
different.
Oh.
I think that's kind of what you're talking about, Darren. But I thought you might have also been talking about the way prayer kind of works works better if you just ask for help to be of service, kind of thing, as opposed to like asking for something for yourself. Like, is that what you mean? Like,
no, I was just wondering. I just know a lot of guys that just, you know, that's all they're doing. They're getting off work, they're going home, they're playing video games until they fall asleep. Then they wake up and go to bed. And it's just.
Maybe they're happy.
I was stuck in. No, I don't think you are. I mean, I was stuck in that rut with alcohol and stuff like that for a long time.
And how'd you get out of it?
I had kids. Met my wife.
You met me.
Well, I will
He gives
say
himself
that
a little
if
too much
you
credit. It was my wife and my kids.
If you redirect your energy and bless others or bless anyone with whom you have tension or struggles, it will immediately heal that relationship.
Can you give me an example? That sounds like a really
Sure.
handy tool for me.
It's actually pretty simple. And in fact, you can do this if you do the meditation on Twin Hearts, because in the meditation in Twin Hearts, there are a few opportunities to, you bless the world. It's based on the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi.
Oh, yeah.
And you bless the world, or you bless your family, you bless your friends. You can put in there anyone with whom you're not having the most loving feeling about. So hypothetically, if you went to work tomorrow and your boss just, let's say you got fired and you came home and you were really, really mad, you could come home and do the meditation in Twin Hearts and start putting your boss in there and blessing them instead of calling them really unkind names. Then you would suddenly shift your perspective and you would not be harboring all of those negative thoughts and energies, which ultimately go back to congesting your chakras, which ultimately go back and create some kind of physical ailment. So it's a full circle. You have to learn forgiveness. And the fastest way to forgive is to turn around and bless somebody.
That's kind of very Buddhist in a way too, like the loving kindness meditations and the compassion. Yeah.
Exactly.
Huh. Wow, that was great. Time flew by as usual. Luckily, we'll be able to pick up this chat in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, that was a blast. That was awesome. Looking forward to meeting you.
I know. We'll do a lot of fun pranic healing tests.
Yeah, that's good.
2 weeks. We're 2 weeks to departure.
Yep.
Yeah, just over 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to be in Arizona right beforehand.
Yeah, I actually
right. Yeah,
I ordered some shirts to your place today. They're supposed to be there by May 9th.
I beg your pardon? You sent us shirts?
Yeah, to bring to Graham Hancock at the conference.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Graham mentioned
We'll do that.
he needs some more shirts. So
Oh, I heard his favorite shirt was the Grimerica shirt, right?
yeah, whether that's true or not, I need Graham Hancock to have a steady supply of Grimerica shirts. So I told him he can have these ones for now. We'll send him some sweaters when he gets home.
Yeah.
If it's not his favorite shirt, it will be.
Every season he gets a new sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Every PR photo of Graham will now have a Grimerica shirt.
You know what we got to get him is because he's always wearing dress up when he goes on TV and stuff. So you got to get him like a little Grimerica bow tie. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Beautiful. I love it.
Anyway, come back anytime. Tell Alan we said hello and thank you for everything.
Okay,
And,
you guys be well. We'll talk soon.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Thanks. Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. And that was our chat with Jayne Jeffrey. What'd you think, buddy?
Great.
Yeah, it was a good one. Kind of a slow start. Everyone's a little.
What?
It was a slow start, I found. We got it
No,
going.
because we talked about our stuff.
No, the cat.
Yeah, we talked about our stuff.
The cat
That's why
gummed it up.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, good. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that pranic stuff. It reminds me of Qigong in a way where you'd bring the energy down and push it through the earth and to cleanse yourself. Like there's all these different crossover alternative healing techniques, like Qigong and Reiki and the pranic stuff and even the energy, the ancient Chinese energy meridians and the medicine there. It just seems like
Does a Faraday
they're
cage?
onto something.
Does a Faraday cage protect that kind of?
No.
No. What about what kind of material?
You just go through anything.
Like in Dungeons and
There's no
Dragons.
space.
What do you hold your magic in Dungeons and Dragons?
There's a sphere of protection, that kind of thing.
Okay.
There's some spells.
Because I'd like to get
There's
a
some
sack
spells.
to put that energy in, in case you need it on a rainy day.
What do you mean, the good energy?
Yeah. Can you do that?
Yeah, probably.
You just got a sack of good vibes.
Yeah.
Fill it up, baby.
Fill up the bag of holding with good vibes.
What's in your backpack? Good vibes. That's a commercial. Anyway, huge thanks to Jayne for coming on the show. Of course, she helped out with the Man Transcending logo and a bunch of stuff with the website. She's helping out with the Bad Comment website, helping out with some stuff for the conference. Going to be at the conference, doing some meditations and some pranic healing. So it's just huge help. And of course, Alan runs the show.
Yep.
So we couldn't do without those guys.
Travel master. What's his name?
Minister of Travel.
Minister of Travel.
Yeah. Maybe Jayne could be the Minister of Good Vibes.
She can be the minister of astral travel, or the pranic travel.
I want a sack of good vibes.
Yeah. There you go. Start filling it up.
They're filling it up.
Gratitude every night. Dump it in the sack.
But I got to figure out what the sack's going to be made of. I feel like
It's a magical bag. Just a repository.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Was it Graham Hancock that called you out on your suppository word?
I said repository.
You said suppository, and you know what that is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I didn't say suppository.
You thought you did.
I figured out what the crackle was.
Oh yeah, yeah. That sounds better.
That computer can't handle the webcam.
Really?
If the webcam and the USB audio device are both plugged into it and running, it's just that tick, 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 tick.
That's
happened through the whole Graham interview.
Yeah.
And it was.
This is what Adam's been bitching about, I think.
I know that's something different.
Is it?
Anyway.
That might be the little static that he's hearing?
No, this is the ticking that's. Because I haven't had a. Maybe it is. It could
be the same thing. Yeah.
Could be the same thing.
So now
anyway, I
we've got
plugged
one
in that webcam into there, and it can't run both.
I can't run the webcam and the
Doesn't seem to. The audio. The audio
And
started
maybe
to
that's
degrade.
only Zoom though.
No,
No, we're
because
on
Graham was
Skype.
Skype.
Yeah.
So the only thing, it's got to be just it can't, unless it's just now. James is going to call and he's going to say, "Did you get the fucking power adapter yet? You meatballs?" Oh no, we didn't get the power adapter yet. I went to get the power adapter,
And there's like
and there
thousands
was
of them.
25 different power adapters there, and I don't know what one to get.
Well, it says which one you're missing when you start up the laptop.
Yeah,
it
that's
gives
not
you that
enough
prompt.
information. Come on.
Just get the voltage. It doesn't matter what else. Just the right connection and the voltage. That's it.
Okay. If we break that thing, we're fucked.
Yeah, I know.
End of the show.
That's
That's
the main
it.
computer.
They'll
It's our
just
main
kick us out of
connection
here
to
when
the
we
outside world.
Squat in here. That's it. Without that, it's just me and you.
Well, Adam and I were talking about last night because we couldn't get the audio working because the $17 cable that's brand new just went on us. And he was like, "You guys need to find a way that if something happens like this, that we can still do a quick podcast without having to do the full blown connection, like
Like a full backup system in place.
a simple backup system."
Is it another table and everything? We just sit at a smaller table with just a cell phone.
No, I think it's just basically connecting
a cell phone on speaker
connect
with,
it, yeah,
with an old
exactly.
school tape
Just-
recorder.
Yeah,
It can't shut us
your
down.
voice notes.
Actually, it can't be a cell phone because that won't work. It has to be a landline
it
that's
could just-
powered by the line, so that even if the power's out and the apocalypse has happened, we could still keep interviewing.
A landline with it. Yeah.
The problem with the battery is the power went out when Lisa was having a circle, and then the battery starts to
it?
ding, ding, ding.
Really?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Really? Eh? Oh, that's not good. That must have freaked them out.
Probably, yeah.
Was it right at the right moment where it's like they're doing their humming or toning and they stop and then maybe did they shut it out or?
I don't know. The power's
Pretty
been
powerful. That prana is pretty powerful.
watch out. Anyway, support the show. Grimerica.ca/support. Really does make you feel better, makes us feel better, makes the world a better place. I really don't have a better reason for you than that. What else you got?
That's it.
That's it. Do everything in the show notes, review the show, share the show, tell your friends about the show. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next week.